Welcome back, everybody. We hope you're doing well. I'm Dan.
And I'm Nate, and we are Dean and the Movie Men, and you're watching our review for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is the sequel to the first Ant-Man movie, and it's a 20th installment in the MCU franchise. And this movie is about them trying to rescue Hank Pym's wife from the quantum realm that we learned about in the first movie. The quantum realm is a place where you kind of get stuck because there's no way of getting out because the circumstances that she got in there. But basically, there's a couple mumbo jumbos with villains and stuff like that. But other than that, that's literally the entire premise of the movie. There is a villain in this movie, Nate. What do you think of Ghost?
You know, honestly, I'll be honest here. Ghost didn't really do much for me. She wasn't really much of a villain at all, honestly.
Yeah.
She kind of reminded me of almost like the villain in Civil War. Not in the fact that she didn't have powers or anything, or didn't want to she didn't want to really defeat anybody.
She was almost wasn't the main cause of most of the events in the film.
Yeah, exactly. Like they weren't going after her. They were, like Dan said, going after finding the mom and there's almost saving her.
Yeah, because there's almost two villains in this movie, and like a group of people, and then there's Ghost.
Yeah. And you figure, you find everything out throughout the movie. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's actually really good. Kevin Feige, the CEO of Marvel, president of Marvel, came out and said she was kind of like Ghost is kind of like Black Panther's villain, like in the fact that she's not doing it to just destroy the world.
Yeah.
She thinks that whatever she's doing is right and stuff.
Yeah.
So and you do get that from the movie, but I wouldn't say that's honestly 100% correct.
Yeah, and the MCU has been lacking on a lot of the villains. But not Thanos, obviously.
Yeah, well, they've been doing very well within the past, I would say, 5-6 movies.
And for this movie it's between Infinity Wars and Avengers 4, along with Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
So I think that they didn't need to focus on the villain and the actual motivations in the movie. As far as what brings the story about. But and that's because there's two monstrous movies of Avengers 3 and Avengers 4. So I didn't mind the villain in this movie.
Yeah,
because it was functional.
It was very functional movie.
It was kind of like a filler movie almost in a way, like Guardians 2 was.
Okay.
Guardians 2 put people where they needed to be for Infinity Wars, and in this one it puts Ant-Man where he needs to be for Avengers 4, and other characters where they need to be for Avengers 4.
But it's mostly though that it's explaining where Ant-Man was during the events of Infinity War. That's true. So this movie takes place pretty much during Infinity Wars. Nobody really knows what's going on. He doesn't know what's going on, and it's because he's on house arrest. It's not it's not much of a spoiler.
Yeah, it's not.
I guess they didn't say it in the trailer or anything, but he's on house arrest, so that's why he doesn't know anything that's going on in Infinity War.
And the beginning part with him being on house arrest I thought that was one of the nicest touches because he's been there for 2 years and he's basically built his house into a giant sled.
Pretty much.
It's cool.
Yeah, he does. It's really cool. The beginning is really good, but I would say besides the very, 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 very first scene, that's the only problem I had.
Yeah. One of the biggest problems we had with the film is that the very first sequence is something we already know from Ant-Man 1. Yeah,
it's just retelling. I'm not gonna say what it's retelling, but it's just retelling part of what was explained in the first Ant-Man movie.
And they only have it to show Evangeline Lilly's character Hope as a kid because it's important in the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
because the connection with the mom.
Yeah, but so what did you think about the characters in this movie?
I thought the characters were great. Luis, Luis
is my favorite. The Mexican guy.
Yeah.
His best friend that he was in jail with.
Yeah.
he is my favorite character in this movie. He was so funny.
Yes.
So, he just brought it to life, like, honestly.
Oh yeah, and for sure, and like I like the relationship between Hope and Ant-Man.
Yeah,
because like
it was a surprising relationship. I'm not gonna say why, but it was very surprising because like you didn't really expect it based on the first Ant-Man movie, but like the events after everything in the first Ant-Man movie, like Civil War and all those movies, explain why they're like this. I thought it was a great touch. Like it was definitely the right move.
For sure. I thought that acting was very well done. Especially the actor who plays Luis, Paul Rudd who plays Ant-Man, great, always great. Lawrence Fishburne's in the movie, he's always great. But other than that, all the acting was great, right? I mean, there wasn't a letdown performance at all. And we have a very strong comedic cast, and that's for a good reason, because the dialogue is very, very, very funny movie.
Yeah, compared to the first movie, which obviously had humor, like they hit hard on the humor of this, and it worked. Like they didn't overdo it at all or anything, but I was laughing for most of the movie, and it was awesome. It was great. And
the way they did this movie kind of reminds me of how they did Deadpool 2. Like, if you look at Deadpool 1 and you take it Ant-Man, they're both movies that Marvel didn't know how their fans were going to react to them, because they're newer characters that not many people know, especially Ant-Man. A lot of people knew who Deadpool was, especially big comic book fans.
Yeah.
But when you look at the success that both of those movies had, Deadpool 2 heavily took advantage of that with it being super inappropriate, it being super funny, it super being violent and gory. Like, everything that Deadpool was known for, they completely took advantage of it.
Yeah.
And in this movie, I felt that they exploited and used Ant-Man's powers to a whole new level in this movie.
Yeah, they definitely showed like what was able to be shrunken or enlarged and like when and how. Yeah. It was great. Like in the trailer, you get to see her the Wasp like blast the salt shaker and it just expands. Like there's just like a ton of stuff like that, and it's great. It really shows what they can do with their powers. And
they use it very well as far as how it affects the plot, because they shrunk down their building to a small size, and that's basically like a hot potato between 3 or 4 different villains and characters that ultimately would drive people to go from here and here to here in the movie.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a great touch, much like what we said in Deadpool 2. It improved upon what Deadpool 1 did. This definitely improved upon what Ant-Man 1 did, because a lot of people were like, okay, now that we know from the first Ant-Man, we're like, okay, we know that Ant-Man is a cool character,
and that the audience really likes him. Yeah.
Yes, especially, and then seeing him again in Civil War and having him more of a comedic role in there as well.
Yeah.
I think definitely added They took advantage of that, and having a strong start to Ant-Man to be able to do well in Ant-Man 2, I think.
Yeah. So, what would you say, like, as an overall, like, how do you say the movie was overall?
As far as ranking wise?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say
so I would rank this movie probably a 3.9. I think that this movie is a very, very, very solid movie. It is a very good movie. I strongly encourage everyone to see it. It is very family friendly compared to other MCU movies and action movies. It's your classic summer blockbuster movie where it's just a lot of fun to go see. It's one of those movies that people will be popping in their DVD players, say, "Oh, let's watch that and have a good time." And like late at nights when slumber parties happen. This will be a movie that you guys watch on slumber parties.
Yeah.
So what would you rate this film?
I'm going exactly what you said. I'm going 3.9. Yeah. I say so just because, like, you know, the humor was fantastic, the acting was fantastic, and honestly, like, Marvel is the only company that I feel can go from Infinity War, like, being so dramatic and everything, to having a drumming ant. You know, and that's just like. Like everything, like in the drumming ant and just like everything in the movie just made it awesome. So that's why I'm giving it a 3.9.
So those are our final thoughts for Ant-Man and the Wasp. If you guys like this video, please hit that thumbs up button down below. It actually makes a difference. It lets us know that you guys out there like what we do in here. And also, if you guys have seen the movie already, please leave a comment down below on your thoughts on the film. We would love to hear from you.
And also, if you have any other requests for videos, like what the end credit scenes in Ant-Man and the Wasp mean for the MCU, or just any other videos that you want to see, let us know in the comment section down below as well. And don't forget to subscribe for more awesome movie reviews.